We didn't have a great knowledge in the country, in Ireland, of where we were going, what the climate would be like, whether it would be bush, whether it would be jungle, whether it would be built-up cities. So really we were very unprepared at that stage.
My mother did not know where I was going, the Lord have mercy on her now. She came to the Curragh here to see me off. My dad was dead since '47, but she did not have an idea where I was going.
We were looking up on maps to see where was the place, and we couldn't find it on the maps. And we were volunteering to go to this place.
Don't forget, we were only 3 weeks getting together, and there was lads going out on patrol and still affected by inoculations and various other things. They weren't the heat. On top of that, like, you know, inoculations against malaria, typhoid, you name it. You had about 10 inoculations in one day. Teeth extractions, medicals, this, that, and the other. You didn't get time to think.
An seachtú lá fihid de júl 1960, bhalig an héad grúpa comádathe síochána le chéile ag Baile Dónal, áitir á Itláin Americánacha, Globemaster C-124s agus Hercules C-130s ag fannach chun na saidúrí a thuairteach in Afric. Bé fear camera Archie Rayside an 10 valg an airchóir a bhí a taistil leis an Cathlán.
And we had a plastic bag like a child would have going on a picnic with some sandwiches. That was our rations, if you like. You see the lads going on board with a little plastic bag in their hand.
So we were off to the great adventure. These massive planes. God, how are they going to get off the ground?
I remember there was fellas getting on the plane, holding their hand over their arm, and if anybody brushed against them, there was a squeal and you could get a belt in the jaw. They were after having the smallpox vaccination. At this stage, it had come up into a big blister of a thing.
In the early days, we went out in the bull's wool, a heavy woolen tunic which was buttoned up to the neck. And the boots were the old studded boots, the hobnail boots.
We were so far behind. I'd say secretly, probably people were, some of them were laughing at us. Like the Americans, they couldn't believe where are these coming from.
We were kind of a tourist attraction type. All the Americans were pointing at us and they thought we were going to the North Pole, in fact, one fella said.
Deire le cuid gona fear nail cuddalta áil, ach bhí cuid eile acu uafásach tín, fád is a detal siad trasna na Hórpa agus a raig go dró na Hafrica huig.
We flew to Châteauroux in France. We then flew to Tripoli, to an American base. We then flew to Congo, and that's when the heat hit it.
I thought I was at the walk in front of a jet engine because the heat was blowing off the desert. And we had never experienced heat like that in our lives. So anyway, we discovered it wasn't a jet engine that was going to burn us. It was just the heat off the desert.
When I landed in it first, my biggest disappointment, after watching Tarzan films and stuff like that, my biggest disappointment when I looked out the back door of the aeroplane we were on, there were no trees. There was only little sort of bush scrub. I was expecting big, tall trees.
Standards were much higher. Like Elizabethville and Leopoldville were huge, big, modern cities, big skyscraper hotels, outdoor swimming pools. There was no comparison to Dublin.
Ach níor inis an rairc sin an scéal ar fad. Brannú neas splachas ar Congo na Belige ar an tríochú lá de bheithimh, agus níor bhada go raibh an tír in a cír chúil. Deir an tarm amach in ai ifigig Belgacha a bhí bán, agus thosa siad ag marú is ag scrisa. Dír Patrice Lumumba, an príomh Aran nua tufa, cabhar ar na náisiún aontaithe. A chug an scéal an nonas nuair a bhris ceantar rachmasa Katanga an chud eile an Congo, faoi cheannaireacht Moise Tshombe. Bhí coga catharga ar bonna Katanga inis, idir na Conicat, Lantóirí Tshombe, agus na Balubas a bhí a gcuine cinenne an uachtar an Tshombe, scara leis an chud eile an Congo.
The Balubas come down to Naimba about 2 months before the ambush, or in around a month or whatever. And we went out there to see what the problem was. There was a whole lot of people dead, and that was a bit scary.
It was our job to repair any bridges. So we kept doing this day after day. We'd fix the bridge, they'd pull it down. We'd go back, fix the bridge, they'd pull it down. It was a matter of perseverance. So that went on for a couple of weeks. So they weren't too angry with us. We weren't too angry with them. But then a few things started to happen.
Bhí Tshombe ag choristeach a chud gendarm, faoi cheannas haidúirí túrastal Belga bána chun na Baluba chlí ag leagan a gcuid bailte go talamh. Bhí na Baluba ag bainne díaltasach raibh Tshombe. Leis an scéal a dhéanana níos casta, bhí na gendarm ag úsáid feitheaclaí a bhí cosú leo siúd a dúsáid na Hairnig, agus don na Baluba, bhreanig na Hairnig bána ina gultacha tropacacha anachasúil leis na hificaigh Belgacha.
They turned against us. The Balubas turned against us. They seemed to believe that we were maybe taken over where the Belgians, colonials, had left off. That was my feeling about it. Where one day they seemed to be friendly enough, angry but friendly. They started to become more hostile. And then we have the events of what happened on the 8th of November.
An 8ú lá de bhí na saona 1960, dog Lieutenant Kevin Gleeson, a laschanasí Sergeant Hugh Gaynor, agus 9 uair eile an garastún ag Niemba, le dul patrol. Tháinig siad ar chruthit briste abhainn luú é.
And I told him, whatever you say or whatever you do, be very, very careful with the Balubas. They are very, very dangerous. No problems, he said. They know we are the United Nations and that we are here to help them.
Somebody rolled out Baluba cats, and of course I put out my head to see, and I saw a fella with a leopard skin hat and a bow and arrow, and another fella with a white shirt, a pair of shorts and a bow and arrow. And Gleeson and Gaynor went down to talk to them.
The attitude from the Irish was that they thought that everyone was friendly. We can do that, we can go to that village. And and that took a long time for me to convince this is war.
Then the Balubas came from behind, screaming, shouting. That was the last moment for them to man all weapons.
In our tradition, there's an in-base appreciation that violence solves nothing, and that you should release a shot or fire a shot just in the last extremity.
The Balubas then attacked. Lieutenant Gleeson tried to say Jambo, and then he got an arrow.
And he went down on Monday. Now, he had a Gustav, and he told us to withdraw into the bush. Take cover, lads. We're all going to be killed.
And they attacked from, in principle, from all directions. And it was only a question of time before everybody was killed.
The patrol should have been back by 4 o'clock, 1600 hours. That's normal procedure, because at 1800, 6 o'clock, it would be dark. So it came to 5 o'clock, 1700 hours, no sign. So by darkness then, it was obvious they weren't going to come. We were informed that a rescue group was en route from Albertville, 200 kilometers. It was going to take them many hours to get to us. We couldn't launch a rescue. We had no transport, that was all gone with the patrol. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, 0500, we could see in the east the vehicles coming. Myself and 7 other guys were detailed.
We came with the rescue unit the day after.
I proceeded into the bush, so 60 paces. And in a small clearing, I found the bodies of Lieutenant Gleeson and Sergeant Gaynor. They had been badly mutilated.
We then carried on the search, and we found several bodies. One body we didn't find, and Tony Bronx we didn't find.
After 10 minutes, Joe Fitzpatrick appeared.
I feel that I'm just a very, very lucky man to be sitting here today. Jesus and Mary, I nearly pray to them every day for getting out of Nuyimba. Of course, you had people that said you ran away. You know, you're sitting in a pub or something and you're still running, and you had all these remarks, innuendos, is that what you call them? No one ever apologised. It took me 47 years to get this Medal of Honour. Me family name restored. I'm contented enough.
I mi mev nídag seaca bhí sráid na bhaile clia dubhla díine dina gordas. Bhí na slóite an a ríis ar lá fuair a mí na sauna, ach ní ra le clustáil an lá sin, ach builín an romí agus clig sépéil. Fadas a chuig an tucra trí chathair a bhí faoi bhróin. Bhí Michael Colton ag tiúnlachan na sochride, agus ag daileáil lena threagóid farsanta hain. Bhí a leanamh mic cailte ag Michael agus a bhean Lily.
He died on the 31st of October, and on the 2nd of October, or the 2nd of November, I should say, I was informed of his death.
So I went down then to the barracks to ask them to send him home, and they told me if I sent his fare, they'd get him home.
At that time, there was no repatriation unless you were able to pay your own fare home.
But I hadn't got the money, because we had very small money from the army that time. And I said I hadn't got the money, so I had to get the child buried myself.
They decided they'd send me home with the bodies as part of the escort. This was 8 or 9 days after the lads had been killed. The stench was incredible. You can imagine, it was the worst trip I ever had in my life.
But then he came home and he had to go back again.